37% of people actually believe this is possible. I'm going to blame Hollywood for this one. It's your number of the day. Lori's husband sends her emails and texts that just say 11:08. The reason why might make you smile. It's a question to ask about every part of your life to level up your life. And if you need some help looking for God's blessings in your life, then you'll look forward to today's Joy Scroll. That's coming up on The Good News Show with Andy, where I'm all about putting a smile on your face and hope in your heart.
The Good News Show with Andy.
The number of the day is
37% of people actually believe this is possible. I'm going to blame Hollywood on this one. It is time travel. I mean, I got to be honest, though, if you grew up at a certain time, watching movies about time travel, I think we all tried to at least get our car up to 88 miles an hour at least once just to see what would happen. But if you believe in time travel and you're listening to the station and you're just thinking, I don't know, time travel, yeah. Jesus, maybe. I got to tell you, time travel has not changed my life. Jesus has. They're one of the most joyful bands you hear on the station, Rend Collective. But Chris from the band talked about how he was going through depression. You might not think that could happen when you're singing songs about being so joyful.
The misunderstanding sometimes around maybe depression is the idea that it's the exact opposite of joy, or that even that sadness is the exact opposite of joy. Whereas the reality of us all is that we're all kind of complicated, aren't we? It's all interwoven. And the weird part, I think, of the life of faith in particular is that there's some kind of mysterious stuff that happens where even at rock bottom, God can still break in and shine light, and you can find yourself singing your way through circumstances you'd never imagined that anybody could sing through. So I suppose the short answer is it's complicated, but I think for me, the songs that I needed during my mental health struggle weren't necessarily sad songs, because I was really good at coming up with those by myself. But the things that helped me move through it were actually maybe a bit bolder, more anthemic, and maybe pushing me a little bit towards joy. Not ignoring or trying to dismiss that there's hard things happening, but still getting that nudge towards joy and that nudge towards a little bit of positive energy was something that really helped me. And so I suppose I wanted to incorporate that in the song, is that it wouldn't be something that would leave somebody feeling heavier afterwards, but that would leave them feeling a bit lighter.
Talking with Chris from Rend Collective and being really honest. Thank you, by the way, Chris, for sharing about your mental health journey and your struggles. And you talked about how God nudged you to choose joy just a few minutes ago. So how did he do that?
I think about the opposite, because for years I struggled with depression for a long time in the band and didn't talk about it because I thought it was a source of shame, that it meant that I was doing Christianity wrong. I've since learned that 90% of our Bible characters, if you pay any kind of attention, all have what read like mental health struggles in the Bible. But I felt it as a source of shame, and so for a while I didn't nudge. I try to force joy home into my life. There's whole seasons of our songwriting that are about choosing joy, and that's not wrong. It's not always the prescription to try and crush down sadness. Sadness does deep holy work in us if we let it. And I think for years I tried to force joy home as though it was the only correct feeling to be having. I didn't realize that they all had a place. I'm much gentler with it now. I like to open up the possibility for joy. And I feel like things that did that for me were speaking to a therapist and being allowed to speak about negative emotions weirdly did nudge open that door for joy. Once you allow yourself the permission to feel whatever you want to feel, there's something very freeing about that. And it actually, rather than making joy go away, I think it opens up a path for an authentic joy.
I hope this story makes you smile today.
When you go on vacation, there's two camps. It's either go to a new place every single time, find new adventures, or you find one you love and you just keep going there over and over again. And if you are in the, hey, I just like what I like, Andy, you might be surprised at what Lori liked to go to over and over again. It began with a long flight of weathered steps leading to a hollow wooden door with rusty numbers that beckoned Lori into room 1108. Inside, she said, Andy, we barely noticed the lumpy bed, faded wooded paneling, and thin, tacky carpet. My husband and I could see the seashore from our perch and wander down to feel the sand between our toes. We returned again and again until a brand new resort tore down the orange shingled eyesore. 40 years later, my husband will send me short emails and texts that just say the time, 11:08. And I write back, I love you too. Just want to encourage you, even though you're about halfway through summer, a little bit over halfway, there's still time to make memories.
I was just going to share an idea for the summer vacation for the kids.
Oh, perfect. Go for it.
Yeah, we always did park hopping, and so you just plan a day and you go from playground to playground, and at one you have you go to McDonald's or something, get a picnic lunch and have a picnic and finish off the day just hopping from park to park.
I love that. And the kids must be so tired at the end of that.
They are. And now that they're all grown and getting married and stuff, that's the one thing that they always bring up that they remembered.
Oh, and you just think it was something so inexpensive, so simple, but it made such a big impact on their life.
Yep. And now I hope that they'll do that with their kids. And maybe I'll get to go along.
How do you make summer memories?
Hey, Andy, it's Megan, and we have a 50-plus year family tradition that we do at this little resort, and it started when my grandparents were young. I've been going there since I was 3 years old, and I went back, and all of the families were still there, and we call it our lake family.
And I think sometimes as a parent, I'm afraid that a tradition like that might get old after a while, but it doesn't sound like that's the case for you.
Never. It'll never get old. Because we're all not getting older. Just the kids are getting older. The adults are not getting older.
It's a question to ask about every part of your life to level up your productivity and your life. Practice zero-based thinking by asking yourself continually, if I were not doing this already, knowing what I know now, would I start doing it again today? If the answer is no, then it might be a good thing to stop. When you needed something from your parents, food, clothes, my sister's bugging me, like whatever, what would you do? You would just ask. Do you know that you can do that now with your Heavenly Father too? And you can start talking to God with this simple prayer. That's all it is just talking to God. I love you, Jesus. Help. If you're like me, they just randomly pop in your head when you see a stranger and you just think, I should pay them a compliment. You never know what will happen next.
This is Tiffany, and I was going to a medical appointment with my husband yesterday, and we were getting on an elevator, and this gentleman was kind of staring at me, much older gentleman. He said, your hair is so beautiful. And I thought it was really odd. I had thrown my hair up in this crazy bun that was just like the messiest thing you could ever imagine. And then he went on to say that he had just lost his wife 2 months ago, and my hair reminded him of her. And it was all I could do to keep my composure. I felt an extreme empathy for him at that moment. And I said, can I give you a hug? And he said, that's so nice of you. And I just knew that in that moment, that was nothing but God putting me right there for him to be a comfort. And as I tried to walk out of the elevator, composed, I looked over at my husband. I said, if I died before you, would you miss my hair? And he said, I'd miss everything.
If you're wondering where God's blessings are in your life, here's something to think about. It's your daily joy scroll.
Have you seen any red cars today on the way here?
I probably did, but no.
Probably.
Probably, yeah.
Right. Now, if you were leaving your house and before you got on the road, I would have told you, for every red car you notice, I will give you $50. Would you know how many red cars you've seen on the way?
I'll look for red cars.
Exactly. That's how the opportunities work. When you go through life and you're not looking and you're not aware, they're just passing by and you don't even notice.
And what if I changed cars to blessings? I think I'd see a lot more of them around me. Hanging out with Chris from Rend Collective. Chris, you started to share a story about how you love to go to Outback when you're on tour and that you had a bloomin' onion story.
At our poorest, I thought nothing of this. But basically, there were two, and I had assessed relatively clean girls who had eaten maybe 6 petals of their bloomin' onion and then left. leaving the blooming onion on the opposite table. And so I had a crisis where I was like, well, I'm going to order one, but that's a perfectly good blooming onion over there. So I went over and grabbed it, but I got spotted by the waiters, and she was so grossed out by it that she comped us one.
She felt bad for you.
Yeah, but there was so much shame, and I wasn't really. I didn't feel the shame until it was brought to light.
I feel like there's also a biblical message with that too. There was no shame until it was brought to light.
That's true. Yeah, exactly. We need others to point out where we're going wrong.
And don't covet your neighbor's bloomin' onion.
That's true. Although they didn't appreciate it. They didn't know what they had.
Chris from Rend Collective is hanging out today. And I know, Chris, you guys are on the road a lot. So how do you spiritually recharge when you're pouring into so many every night?
I just find I need a lot of time by myself. I really resonate with Jesus's touring career. That is a man who spent a lot of effort in trying to get away from the crowds. And it's not that he doesn't like people or that I don't like people. It's just that it's what it takes to be able to really bring your best self to others, is that you do have to just, whether it's getting up early, whether it's staying up late, you just need to make sure that you are giving yourself the time that you need to be a healthy person. And, I think that brings in all kinds of practices like meditation and prayer and reading. I think having those practices in place just makes you a healthier human being. But I wouldn't be able to survive on the road without it. I do have to be pretty intentional. If I don't work at it, I can find myself kind of in community all day. If you don't carve out time for yourself, there will be none. And you don't realize how much that kind of costs your battery until it's fully depleted.
Who's excited to go to work on a Monday? I gotta tell you, I was a little bit, just because I needed a recovery day from my weekend. Did 4 hours of intense landscape work, taking care of the patch right in front of my house, which I don't think has been touched in 20 years. There was a layer of gross rocks and then layers of stuff below that and edging that had been completely overgrown. And after 4 hours of feeling like I didn't get a lot of work done, I looked at it and I thought, this would have been a good time to take a before picture. So then when this is all done, hopefully in a week or so, I can take an after picture. Because right now in the middle of it, I'm wondering, why am I doing all this work? And even afterwards, I might look back and go, was it all worth it? Maybe that's the question you're asking right now. Just go back and think about where you were this time a year ago, a month ago, even a day ago. You're making progress, even though sometimes it doesn't feel like it. If I don't sound as energetic as usual, it's because I really can't move. I did so much yard work over the weekend that everything hurts. So let me know if you did something a little more fun over the weekend.
My sister and I moved into an apartment together.
Oh, let the adventure begin.
Yes, I'm very excited. It's an upgrade from where I was living before, and everything just came together beautifully. We had so many friends and family helping us get over there. It was just a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
So what do you love about your sister?
She is so ambitious. She just graduated from college last May and finally got a job about a month ago, and I just love her ambition. My sister and I moved into an apartment together.
Oh, let the adventure begin.
Yes, I'm very excited. It's an upgrade from where I was living before, and everything just came together beautifully. We had so many friends and family helping us get over there. It was just a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
So what do you love about your sister?
She is so ambitious. She just graduated from college last May and finally got a job about a month ago, and I just love her ambition.